Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Barbara and I love to create budget-friendly farmhouse decor. If that is something that you are interested in, I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification. And if you enjoyed today's video, please like, comment, and share with your friends. If you are a current subscriber, thank you so very much. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you so much for your love and support. I am really excited to share with you how I created these 4 home decor pieces using items from the Dollar Tree. So for project number 1, I used a sink mat from Dollar Tree. This is like a rubber plastic sink mat, as well as a package of 3 of the 5-gallon paint sticks that you could pick up at Lowe's for 98 cents, and then an extra piece that I had left over from a previous DIY. So I've gone ahead and went outside and used my miter saw and cut 2 pieces down to 12 inches and 2 pieces down to 9.5 inches. And what I love about these sticks is that they already have like a ruler on the back, so you know exactly where to cut them, so you have the perfect measurement for each piece. And I'm going to attach these using my Gorilla Wood glue and my staple gun, which I will try to leave a link in my description box below if you are interested in this staple gun. So I flipped the pieces over because I'm going to attach it on the back side of my frame, creating my frame, and I'm putting wood glue on the short pieces and then attaching the long pieces to that, and then I'll go in with my staple gun and put about 2 staples at the seams where the 2 pieces of wood meet, one like right in the middle, and make sure your staple gun's lined up, because if you see at the top right corner, I didn't have it lined up to begin with, but I do go in, take those out, and replace them. So I'm just putting 2 staples in each corner of the frame. So once I get those in place, I'm going to take my sink mat and give it 2 coats of the Waverly chalk paint in mineral. And then once the mineral paint dries, I'm going to dry brush over this with the Waverly chalk paint in ink to give it more of a metal look. And I just emphasize mostly on the little squares in the sink mat, trying to make it look more like metal or like a rustic type basket. Then I painted the frame with my Waverly chalk paint in truffle, and I did go ahead and paint the front and the back. You don't have to paint the back, but I went ahead and painted it anyway. So now to assemble these 2 pieces together, I'm going to be placing the mat behind the frame, and I'm just going to line it up and make sure I have it exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to flip it over and attach it that way using hot glue. So again, just line it up, make sure that the mat is sitting where you want it to on the frame, and make sure that when you're attaching it, you have both of the front pieces that you want to see facing down. So you're looking at the back side of both of these pieces. And then I secured that down with hot glue, and I took my time as I went around because this is pretty stretchy, it'll stretch. I wanted to make sure that it was a nice tight fit all the way around the frame so it didn't bow out in the middle. And then once I get that set up, I'm going to take some boxwood greenery from Walmart that you can buy at a bundle for 97 cents. And I just went ahead and cut the stems off of the bundle. And then I'm just going to use some floral wire from Dollar Tree and attach these pieces together. So I just set one piece on top of the longer stem, so it looks like one continuous piece, and then attach that with the floral wire, just wrapping it around and twisting it very tightly. And then I'll continue that until I get it to the length that I want, because I'm going to bend this around and turn it into a wreath. So just depending on the size of wreath you want as to how many bundles, little stem pieces that you need to put together. And then to attach it at the end, I just did the same process I did with the other pieces and attached the beginning portion to the end portion of the boxwoods. Then to put this on the sign, I'm feeding the floral wire through one of the notches in the sink mat, and I'm going to attach that at the top and the bottom of the wreath, and twist that very tightly. And what I like about this is you could change the wreath out, and so you could decorate this for any of the holidays. Then to give this a hanger so I could hang it on the wall, I used some hemp rope and attached that to the back of the frame with hot glue. And then I cut a couple of the crafter's sticks down to some rectangle sizes and just put that on top of the rope just to give it a little added stability. And then once that's all set up, this project is finished, and I love how this turned out. I love that dark brown with the gray and the green. It's very beautiful, and I enjoyed making this project, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. So for the second project of this video, I am using a plate that I found at Family Dollar. I actually found this on the clearance rack. It was originally $1, and I actually got it for 50 cents. And I'm also using another sink mat from Dollar Tree. And then I'm also using the wooden home sign from Dollar Tree that's on this stand. And I wanted the home sign, I'm using Waverly chalk paint and ink and Waverly chalk paint in white. And I wanted this home sign to come apart. I just wanted the word home. So I used my hair dryer to loosen up the glue because that's what's holding the wording in the frame. And I also used my screwdriver and just really took my time until I was able to get that out without breaking the word. And then I took some sandpaper and sanded it down nice and smooth in between all of the lettering. Then I took the sink mat and placed it on top of the plate and then just used a Sharpie to go around the outline of the size that I wanted the mat to be. So I really just went around where the indentions of the plate come up. And since this is a square plate, it's just going to be a little odd looking when you cut that off. But once I get it marked down where I want it, I just take my scissors and cut the mat out and then place it on top just to make sure that it fits the way I want it to. Then I painted the plate with the Waverly chalk paint and ink in one coat, and I only painted the sides and the top. And then I painted the sink mat with the Waverly chalk paint in white, and that did take 2 coats to cover all of that up, trying to make sure that I got down inside of all of those squares. So once all of that is dry, I'm going to attach the sink mat on top of the plate. And I'm going to do that with my hot glue. And I just go around the outside edges and then a few spots in the middle under where the little weaves come through because it kind of looks like a basket now. I just put a couple of spots of glue there just to hold it down so it wouldn't bubble up in the middle. Once that is secured down with the hot glue, I took some buffalo check ribbon from Dollar Tree and just hot glued that across the center of the plate and then secured it down in the back with hot glue. Then I took some sizzle rope and hot glued it around starting where the mat begins. And then I took my time to create the shape of the mat with the sizzle rope, and then I do that all the way around until I get to the outside edge of the plate. So if I had this to do over again, I would probably do it with a round plate because I think that would turn out really, really pretty. I like the way this one turns out, but you have to be very peculiar because of the shape of the plate. But once I get the sizzle rope down, I took some boxwoods again from Walmart, just cut those off of the bundle and place them where I wanted them to be at the bottom. And once I get that the way I like it, which is like 2 or 3 little bundles on each side, I'm going to secure that down with hot glue. And then I'm going to create a bow to go in between the boxwoods. But before that, I'm going to hot glue the home sign right directly on top of the ribbon. And I love the way the sizzle rope and the home sign have the same color. They have that raw wood color look. So after I get my boxwoods glued down, I'm going to take some buffalo check ribbon. This actually came from Hobby Lobby. It's a little bit smaller. It's not as wide as the one from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to create a bow to go right there where the boxwoods meet. And I just loop my bows around. I just hold it up to see the size I want. And then I'm going to create 4 loops on each side. And then I'm going to squeeze that really tightly in the middle and take a piece of ribbon, the same buffalo check ribbon, and fold that over and then secure it around the bow with hot glue. I wanted my bow to have tails, so I just cut two of the same length pieces down and dovetailed those, and then glued that directly to where the boxwoods meet, and then glued the bow on top of that. And then I take some extra small pieces of boxwood, and then I'll glue those down right above the bow to sort of fill in that little area. And then once I get those boxwoods glued down, this project is finished. And I really like how it turned out because it looks almost like a basket, but like I said, I would probably use a round plate. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. For the third project, I am using this sign from Dollar Tree that they had available back in July 4th. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the ribbon and then all of the ribbon and the paper from the back. And I tried to remove the paper on the front because I didn't want all that glitter on there, but I was not very successful. So I did sand off as much glitter as I could. And then I'm going to paint over that with my Waverly chalk paint in white. So these are actually going to become the back of the signs, but I just wanted to cover up all that glitter. So I go ahead and paint that and paint the sides as well. So now those are the backs. So I'm actually going to cover what used to be the backs are now going to be the front. And I'm going to cover those with some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. And it's in this wood grain look. And I just cut my squares out slightly larger than the actual sign. And then I'm going to secure that down with some matte Mod Podge, really emphasizing on the edges because of all those grooves, making sure I have enough Mod Podge all the way around those edges and the center so that it will stick to this sign very well. And then I set those to the side and let those dry a couple of hours because I want them to be nice and dry before I get that excess paper off. So once that has dried, I'm using my sanding block from Dollar Tree and some sandpaper from Dollar Tree. And I'm going in one motion. So I'm going from the top downwards in the same motion until I get all the excess paper off and it's nice and smooth. And I'm going to do that for all four sides of this sign as well as the other two signs. And once I get all of that off, I'm also going to be using some of these art skill letters. These come from Dollar General. And I've gone ahead and cut them out to spell the word sweet. And I'm using my Waverly chalk paint and truffle. And I give those 2 coats of paint. And then I'm putting these letters down on the sign. And they're sticky, but they're not super sticky. So if you don't get it lined up exactly right the first time, you can pull them up and then place them back down. Because I didn't have mine lined up the way I wanted them the first time, I am able to pull those up and put them back down in place. Then I found these stickers at Crafter's Square section in Dollar Tree, and I bought two packages of these because I wanted to use the home sign. They have these little puffy stickers on the back, so I pulled those off and used hot glue to put one on each of those signs. Well, the color truffle did not match with the home sign the way that I wanted it to. So I decided to go in with my Waverly chalk paint and mineral and paint over the word sweet. And it still did not match the way I wanted it to. So I'm going in and actually going to cover up each of these letters and just leave the outline in the truffle color. So the entire letter is going to be in the mineral paint color and then the outline will be in the truffle color. And it still didn't look the way I wanted it to, but that's a part of crafting. So I decided to go in and paint the home sign and leave the outline of it with that darker brown. So I painted the entire home, the word home, in the mineral chalk paint and left the outline in that darker color. And I thought that went with each other a lot better than the way I had it to begin with. So once I get and it does take 2 coats to paint over this sticker. So once all that's dried, I cut 4 pieces of hemp rope about the same length, and then one for the top hanger. And I'm just going to flip these over and hot glue these down, making sure that I have the same distance between all three pieces. And then I'll attach the hanger with the hot glue as well. And then I do go in and put a little extra hot glue on top of it just to give it a little bit more stability. And this is how it turned out. And I think it's cute. I think it looks much better than it did when I had it all in the truffle color. So for the fourth project, I'm using 4 of these signs from Dollar Tree. They're like little boxes. And I am going to create one large sign using these, and I wanted mine to be staggered to look like 4 pieces of staggered wood. So once I get it lined up the way I want it, I attach all 4 pieces together using hot glue, and then I'm going to flip that over and squeeze the inside because it has like these side pieces just to make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm going to give that one coat of paint in my truffle Waverly chalk paint. And then I found this letter at Walmart. I've had it for a while, so I honestly cannot remember how much I paid for it. It was, I'm sure, less than $2. But this is the first letter of our last name. So I wanted to use this letter. So, of course, you can use any letter that you want. And I gave this 2 coats of paint in the Waverly chalk paint in the color Mineral. And then once this has completely dried, as well as the sign with the truffle colored paint has dried, I'm going to put these 2 together. So I just set it on top of the sign to see exactly where I want to put it and line that up. And then I'm just going to lift the letter up to the side so I can make sure I put it back exactly where I wanted it. And I'm going to secure that down with some hot glue. To create a hanger for the sign, I'm using this burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, and it has a grayish tint to it, so it matches my mineral chalk paint very well. And I just flip that over till it creates like a loop at the top. And then I'm going to turn my sign over and turn my ribbon over and then attach that to the 2 outside pieces of the sign, and then also at the top part, so it'll hang nice and flush when I hang it up on the wall. And this is how this project turned out, and I would have to say that this is my favorite of the 4. Let me know if you have a favorite in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Please take care, and I will see you next time.